Doesn't know any
But
different.
the thoughts and the thoughts about the feelings that happened. The thoughts create feelings?
Yeah. Thought
So
becomes
then you're
thought feeling. If you're talking about emotional feelings, yes.
like you're thinking about that, you're remembering those feelings, you're
Yep.
basically recycling that within re-traumatizing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But all that's going on is thoughts.
Yeah.
Not the actual event.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Now, that's the only way the mind can work, by the way. It takes thoughts to be reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? That's the only way it can work. Like,
Mm-hmm.
let's do something really basic, like a tree. Let's just assume you could look out your window and you saw a tree right now. Yeah, it's a tree.
Mm-hmm.
We'd both sit here and we would both agree, yep, there's a tree out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if we remove the label tree, now what are we looking at? Now what are we looking at? We just remove the label tree. Now what is it? We might get clever and say, oh, well, wood. Wood.
Yeah.
Right? Just for
Or
argument's sake.
something.
Or
Yeah.
leaves or branches or trunk, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we remove those labels. Or those labels, because they're just labels, right? They're just words. Yeah. So we remove those labels. Okay. Now what are we looking at? What happens?
An image. Just an image.
Now let's remove that label, image. Now what are we looking at? What happens? Now we don't know what it is. And
Yeah. And
all we've done is remove labels. So the mind takes the label. This is important, Lindsay. The mind takes the label tree to be the tree.
yes.
It can't experience the tree.
Okay. Yes.
See
Okay.
this?
I see that. Yes.
Good.
Totally,
See
I
this?
see
Yeah.
that.
Good.
Because it's grasping.
Now it's not
It's
just with a tree,
grasping.
it's with everything. Now it's not just with the tree, it's with everything. Everything. What the mind does, it takes the label to be the thing.
Right.
It takes the word tree, or the sound of the word tree, takes that to be the tree.
Yeah.
Because if you remove those labels, now you don't know what it is.
Right. Yeah.
So that becomes obvious. So now that becomes obvious. Yeah, you with me? So I'm just teaching you at the moment how this works. It's great for your mental health job. But just how this works.
Yeah.
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 All with words. Thoughts are nothing but words. Words. Sentences, paragraphs,
all
stories.
thoughts are in words.
Yeah.
And images that you get, you
still need the word to identify the image.
Use the word in you kind of see the image and then say a word kind of silently to yourself. That's right. Yeah.
Correct. Now, without the word, what's the image?
Just something.
All you could say is, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's the most honest thing you could say is, I don't know. But the important part there is to see that what we've been taking to be a tree or take whatever it is a word. It's a label. It's just a label. That's the only way the mind can work. because it works in language. It works with words. Thoughts, thinking works with words. If you were brought up in China, all your inner dialogue would be in Chinese.
For sure. Yep.
All of it. Yeah. And your name might be Su Ling, whatever, right?
Yep.
Now, just on that, if all of your internal dialogue right here, right now, all of a sudden turned to Chinese, all of it turned to Chinese, now what would be happening? There wouldn't even be the thought, oh my God, all my internal dialogue has turned to Chinese.
Oh, all
because
of it.
that would be in Chinese too.
Oh
all
my God.
of it.
Yeah.
Just go there for a sec. Trying to show you something. If all of your internal dialogue all of a sudden turned to Chinese, now what would be? Would you know what a tree was? Would you know what a table was? Would you know what a body was? Would you know what a Lindsay is? What would you know?
Nothing. And you wouldn't even know, what your internal, like what your thoughts would even say, because that would be in Chinese as well. Weird.
Good.
Okay, yeah.
But it's important. That pointer is important. I'm trying to show you how the mind works. You understand? Yeah. Yeah. You're quick. It's good.
So again, just experiences, just sensations.
Just
because all
you can't even give it a name.
Just
this.
But
yeah, what I would suggest you do, see, I'll take you on this little exercise and then we'll wind up, right? But okay, so
gosh,
this here, that's a phone, right? In a case. Right? For it to exist, what does it primarily depend upon first? For it to be.
For it to be?
Yeah.
You have to label it.
Yeah. Let's come back into the world now.
Okay.
For this to, let's talk physics a little.
Sure.
Good.
Okay.
For this to be, what fundamentally needs to be there first?
Material.
That if you took it away, this couldn't exist. It needs something to be there. I'm not talking about consciousness or awareness or.
Yeah, you're not. Are you going to say space?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We remove space and that disappears.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this requires space to manifest. Got it?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So this is dependent on space. What is space dependent upon? That if you took it away, there'd be no space and no thing.
Perception?
Consciousness.
Yeah. Okay.
Consciousness. You anesthetize somebody. Everything disappears, doesn't it? Space, things, everything.
Absolutely. Yes. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So space is dependent upon consciousness for it to be. This is just an exercise I'm taking you through, all right?
Okay.
Now.
I'm with you.
Good. Now, what does consciousness depend upon?
A perceiver or consciousness.
How do you know you're conscious?
I just know I am conscious.
Good, good, good enough, good enough. Yeah. So what we're going to do, just for the sake of this exercise, we're going to say you're aware of being conscious.
Yes.
Good. So we're going to say, good. So we're just going to say for the sake of the exercise, yeah, that consciousness is dependent upon awareness. Just for the sake of the exercise.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, yeah.
Good. Okay, so we've got a thing,
Mm-hmm.
and we've got space,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have
Mm-hmm.
consciousness, and then we have
Mm-hmm.
awareness of being conscious. Okay?
Yes.
Good.
Yes, yeah.
Good. Now,
Yes.
where we exist as a seeming separate individual human being person is we're in a state of being conscious of. You're
Mm-hmm.
conscious of thoughts, you're conscious of your body, you're conscious of feelings in your body, you're conscious of friends, other people, you're conscious of the phone sitting in front of you, you're conscious of me being here.
Yeah.
We live in a state of being conscious of all day long,
Right.
conscious of
Mm-hmm.
a myriad of different things all day long. Yeah, that's the mind that does that.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
mind doesn't understand space. It doesn't get space. All it gets is
Right.
the things in space.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And
It likes to
all
focus on something.
yeah, and all
So
the
it
things
focuses.
yeah, all the things in space, the mind is labeled.
Right.
Labeled.
Yeah.
Labels. Yeah. Even space
Yeah.
it's given a label. Space is given the label space, but it's understood as no thing. It's nothing.
Right.
It's not a thing.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a shape, doesn't have a form, doesn't have a location, doesn't have anything. Just yeah. So
Yeah.
the mind ignores space and just attaches to things.
Yes.
Got it?
Yeah. It likes to
Good.
focus on. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. So we live in this state of being conscious of. What
Yeah.
I'm trying to where I'm trying to get you to go is to
Mm-hmm.
be aware of consciousness only. So going from a state of being conscious of a myriad of different things throughout the course of the day to now just being aware of one thing, consciousness, because you are conscious.
Okay. Okay.
You with me?
Homework.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are conscious.
Yeah.
No ifs or buts about it. Yeah. Now it
Right.
still sounds like two. It still sounds like I'm asking you to be aware of, which is one location, aware of being
Right.
conscious. Conscious sounds like two, and I'll
That is.
acknowledge that's why I brought it up. It sounds like two, yeah. But just for the sake of the exercise, yeah, you're right. It sounds like two, but at least now all of the attention is just focused on one thing, not a myriad of things throughout the course of the day. Now, if you can do that,
Mm-hmm.
something quite phenomenal happens. If you can truly do that, yeah, this idea of being aware of consciousness merges.
Mm-hmm.
It merges.
Okay.
Now there's no awareness, there's no consciousness, because they're both labels as well. But what he's experienced is now there's not two.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I can only
Okay.
do it. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
aware of consciousness. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what happened. So it's a pointer. Being aware
Okay.
of being conscious is still a pointer. Yeah, it's like saying, stay with the I am. That's a pointer also. I am. Stay with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pointer. Yeah. So
Okay.
if you've understood what you're not, if you've truly understood what you're not, yeah, it just leaves what you are. Now, dive into that. But you dive into it
Okay.
with awareness or consciousness, or not with
Okay.
mind, because it's a direct experience. Are you conscious? You'll go, yep, yep.
Yeah.
Okay, there, right there. When you go, yep, there, you dive into that. Don't worry about what the mind does. It might bloody kick up and it might be saying this and it might be, don't worry about it. Shift the attention, away from being conscious of to just consciousness itself. Because
Okay.
you are conscious.
Okay.
Yeah? That has to become your primary interest. Once you know what you're not, yeah. And we may have to do this a couple more times. Who knows? We may not either. This may be
Okay.
enough. You may just kind of trundle off and voila.
And just